Okay, let's see if this is working. Okay, so part of it appears to be good. We'll dump the URL into chat. I assume notifications will have gone out. For some reason, the browser is not pointing to the right. It's not capturing the tab at the moment. Let's fix that. Where are you at? All right. Well, good to have you back. Let's see. Why is this? Okay, so if I pop to there, and then what happens if I go back? There we go. Just needed to change between browser windows and kickstart it back into capturing again. Okay. So, maybe this is YouTube's crazy suppression strategy. They'll just kill off everybody's stream and YouTube video whenever they hear any combination of the words campaign, YouTube, brigade, or dislike. Anyway, quickly glancing over here. Had to read the trending stuff for a second. It's all bad. Shocking, I know. Oh, this is really weird. Oh, no, okay. The dashboard is really behind and it doesn't have everything in it. Man, I think something is up with YouTube though. They're using the Amazon anti-union method. Man, can you imagine if that union actually happens in I forget what state it's in, but they're voting this week. I think it is into this week, something like that. Or rather, they've been collecting votes, now they're counting, or about to start counting. So there may be the first Amazon warehouse worker union starting up somewhere. And part of me really hopes that they're successful. Another part of me is almost scared of what'll happen if they are. Because talk about a union that is either going to be wildly powerful or completely immaterial. It could go either way. I mean, literally, if any Amazon location decides to unionize and hold a strike, their tweets are cringe. I mean, Amazon's or the unions, I imagine both are. But imagine, the thing is, Amazon has done such a good job of distributing product across tons and tons of locations that when you think about it, all they have to do is, if there's ever a strike, for example, all they have to say is, okay, cool, we'll just serve this particular product from one of 5 other locations. And it might take an extra half a day for it to reach people, but it'll get there. You know, their business model literally makes them almost union proof, as long as the unions don't become big enough to like reach across several different facilities at once. You know, they might not be able to do like fresh deliveries or something. That might be their weak point. They can't get stuff out same day in all cases. Like, if that's the worst that happens, holy crap. The Amazon news tweets. Yeah. Well, Amazon has been cringe about a lot of stuff. And I mean, I have no doubt you guys have seen and heard Amazon was like clapping back against Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. I don't remember if they took any shots back at AOC, but I feel like they did. Anyway, yeah, some of the stuff they posted, dangerous. I mean, we're talking about a company that has that much pull and influence, that much money. And once they start setting their sights on lawmakers, that can be trouble. What really gets me though is they're really aiming only at the Democrats. There are a lot of Republicans who are constantly taking shots at Amazon, and it seems like they're not really getting the same treatment. Which, okay, I mean, fine, the Democrats are definitely more outspoken about it. But it does smell weirdly partisan at this point. Oh. I love seeing this trending topic. Matt Gaetz is in trouble. Anyone who doesn't know, he's being investigated for sex with an underage girl, transporting her across state lines, so on and so forth. Bad times. So, yeah. With some luck, that tool won't be around much longer. Anyway. The trending topics are so cringe. Wait, Godzilla vs. Kong already started? Was that yesterday? I thought that was next week. Was I already tracking this? Come on, Visual Studio, load up faster. Okay, Godzilla vs. Kong. Oh, today. All right, so it came out today. Anyone who is interested in watching Godzilla vs. Kong, you can see it on. That was what was that? That's not HBO, is it? Oh, it is HBO. Okay, so yeah, oh yeah, I already had the link. Duh. So yeah. If you are super into kaiju movies, this is the time. I've heard this one's supposed to actually be pretty good, so there is that. Go ahead and begin either watching it on HBO or do as the rest of the world is doing and torrent the crap out of it. Or technically you can go see it in theaters, but you guys know better. I have faith in you. You know better. See, Saldana, interesting choice to release it on Wednesday. Actually, this has been really common lately. Yeah, part of it Easter break, definitely. But no, ever since coronavirus, well, not ever since, but it was about... Oh, I want to say about 4 months in, I started noticing a shift where every once in a while movies would actually start popping out on Tuesdays and sometimes Wednesdays. Now it seems to be like, not every week, but a lot of weeks they're coming out midweek now instead of coming out on Friday night. And I don't know if there's a real reason for this. I obviously there has to be a reason. But for example, okay, this week may not have actually been the best example for this, but for example, this week Godzilla vs. Kong came out today. Yesterday was a movie called Witness Infection, which comedy. Yeah, comedy horror. It has Erin Hayes, which love her. Let's see. And then there are a few things coming out obviously this weekend, as obviously anyone would expect. Assault on VA 33, which you guys may have seen me talk a little bit about in the chat room. Hint, hint, don't watch it. It bad, yo. But yeah, that's going to be coming out on Tuesday next week. Let's see. Oh, that's coming out on a Friday. Okay, my next lineup of movies all happen to be kind of oriented towards Fridays, but not all of it. Anyway, all of my tracking, like, there's a surprising amount of stuff that is coming out on Tuesdays, mostly Tuesdays, some Wednesdays. There are very, very rare but occasional Mondays and Thursdays in the list, but it's almost always Friday is the first choice, Tuesday is second choice with about half as many movies, and then Wednesdays have a tendency to slip in. Pacific Rim is the best kaiju movie. Okay. Here's the thing. I don't actually like most kaiju movies. Sorry, I've never actually liked a Godzilla movie. The only thing I ever liked about the one from 2000-ish was the song that came out that was P. Diddy and P. Diddy's cover of... Damn it, I can hear the music, but I can't think of the song title. Come With Me. P. Diddy's cover of Come With Me. Or Come With Me Now. I think it's just Come With Me. Yeah, P. Diddy Come With Me. Yep, based on Jimmy Page's song. Or his performance. Yep. That was the best thing about that movie, I'll tell you. That was what, I think that was, 1999. Sorry, not 2000. I was a year off. But, yeah. Let's see. I saw the one that had... I saw the most recent Godzilla before this one, which had, damn it, what's his name from Breaking Bad? Let's see. Normally names come to me easier than this, but at the moment I'm just totally spacing it. Bryan Cranston. Which, I'm just going to spoil this because people need to hear this. In case you haven't already seen that Godzilla, that version of Godzilla, don't watch it. At least not for him. I mean, it's technically a passable Godzilla movie, but I personally thought it was trash. But especially if you were a fan of his, don't watch it because he's only in it for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, maybe 10, right in the beginning, and then they very unceremoniously kill him. Like, they do so much to make it very obvious he's in the movie, and then they kill him almost immediately. It is such crap. Do not watch. It's straight up like an insult to fans of his. And then, frankly, again, the movie just isn't that good, which sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah, so you hear Shin Godzilla is good? Okay. I have no idea. But yeah, and truth be told, I wasn't a big fan of Pacific Rim. It was just too schlocky, and the pacing was not great. And also their attempt at sort of manufactured science was weird. They broke, like always, movies like this always do it. Avatar famously did it, and so many others. But they create rules in the first half of the movie, and then spend the second half of the movie completely breaking the same rules. Yeah, it's just a bit much. They probably shouldn't do it, but they do. Anyway, and then I never watched Pacific Rim 2, but I heard the same thing was fairly true there. Anyway, you're just a Guillermo del Toro fan. You and Corbin have that in common. He's a big fan, though. He apparently, as far as I can tell, his fandom extends only to Guillermo del Toro's stuff intended for young audiences. We'll just pull him up real quick. Yeah, so wait a second. Okay. This is the original Hellboy, right? It's gotta be. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that it's got Selma Blair. Good. Okay. The original Hellboy. So, cheers to him. He did Hellboy. I respect that. That was a great movie. Cheesy, but great. Let's see. The Hobbit. Cheers, I guess. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I doubt I ever will. Oh crap. He wrote Pan's Labyrinth. That thing was such a load of trash. Sorry, dude. If it's your favorite, I hated it. I saw that in theaters. I could not wait to get out. I mean, if I had not ridden to the theater in someone else's car, I would have just straight up left. I could not take that movie. I just could not. Let's see. Wait, did he what? Direct? Let's see. Where's his directing credits? Didn't he have something to do with... Am I mixing him up with somebody else? Who's responsible for Spy Kids? Because I remember that's one of the movies Corbin was citing in it. Oh, I'm thinking of Robert Rodriguez. Damn it. Okay. Never mind. I mixed up my directors. My bad. Okay, so Guillermo del Toro. Okay, you know what? Judge me if you will, but I actually liked Blade 2. I even thought it was better than the original Blade. But I know most people won't side with me on that. But Blade 2 was a lot more fun. That's largely why. Okay. He did cameos. Cheers to that. Alright. Just had to look through and see what else was in here. He wrote Mimic. Is that... Yeah, I saw this. I actually saw this in theaters. I don't remember if it was good or bad, but I'm pretty sure it was terrible. As most movies with Mira Sorvino are. Which is a shame, because she seems like she should be a good actress. But then she stopped being a good actress somewhere very, very early in her career. Wow, and a young Josh Brolin. Anyway. Alright, anyway, so I am effectively lacking in topics at this point. So just out of a propensity for being prepared, I'm gonna call a 15-minute, especially since lost a couple of people by ending and restarting the stream. But really quick, why is Among Us trending? Because that's almost guaranteed to be dangerous. Getting a full art style revamp in future update. That's a good reason to be trending. Because look, I respect the ugly look of Among Us as it stands today, but the art was like legit bad. Let's see. Even going so far as to cancel a planned sequel today. Innersloth said it will also expand the lobby size to include up to 15 players. Hell yes. The developer added that it plans to give players more frequent, transparent updates in an effort to teach players more about the games behind the scenes. Good job, guys. Kirby Mermaid getting the OnePlus 9 Pro tomorrow from FedEx. So I'll start by saying I'm sorry you're getting it FedEx. I'll follow by saying congrats. I think good luck. I hope you love it, and I will end by I guess prompting the obvious question: weren't you trying to get your girlfriend to wait on buying it because you wanted what was it, to see reviews? Actually, I don't remember why you wanted her. It's not coming to me at the moment. I'm sure if I weren't kind of sleep deprived it might come to me, but weren't you saying you wanted to wait a bit longer before making the commitment on buying one? Anyway, let's see. Among Us, the developer added that it plans to give players more free. Oh yeah. The game gets a new map today, Airship, on all platforms. The map, the game's fourth, adds new tasks, including emptying the trash and polishing jewels, as well as additional hats and skins. That includes the so-called chocolate ice cream hat that looks suspiciously like poop. I like it. I dig that. Verizon certified it. Okay, that makes sense. Had to watch the teaser on this. Okay, you guys can't hear it, but they're actually doing like, they've actually got talking in this video. Huh. Okay. Let's see. But FedEx, lol. Yeah, no, for real. Yesterday when I took the drone back, I had to ship it FedEx. That's how they wanted it shipped back. I got there. First off, our local FedEx office is tiny, so even fitting two people in the waiting area is kind of a tight fit. Even before coronavirus, it was not comfortable to return packages there. Anyway, and they can really only handle one customer at a time, which also kind of sucks. Man, I prefer UPS in so many ways, but not the point. Anyway, as I'm dropping this off at FedEx, I noticed that the address that I was sending... Oh, okay, so I don't know if I told you guys about this. I sent back some other DJI review units about a month ago. Or more than a month ago. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it was a few weeks back. And the address that I shipped them to, it was in California. I vaguely remember what it was, but I'd have to look it up, but I probably don't really need to give that away anyway. But the package ended up coming back to me, and it was marked as returned to sender because the destination was closed. Like, as in doesn't exist anymore. And so I thought that was kind of weird. Well, when I was sending back the package yesterday, I noticed that the label they gave me, I think the address was an exact match. So I am still really, really not sure what's going on, but I'm wondering if in in another week or two, I'm gonna end up getting not only the DJI FPV drone sent back to me, but also the other package with other review units. I didn't notice that the addresses were identical until I was standing there with the packages on their way station and ready to be sent. So who knows? That may turn into a very awkward conversation, because if I noticed it sooner, I would have emailed and said, hey, I think this address is the same. Could be a problem, but oh well. Let's see. FedEx charged you 3 extra times for sending a Nest Mini through eBay. Took like a month to dispute with eBay and their crappy customer service. I mean, eBay is almost one of the few companies worse than Google. When it comes to customer service, there's just no concept of doing it well. And one of the charges said $18 with a 0.0 pound bill weight. Yikes. You use pirate ship for eBay. Yeah. I will say FedEx is categorically one of the stupidest companies I've ever had to deal with. And every time I have to deal with FedEx in any sort of way, even just receiving packages, I feel like it is a gamble that anything is ever going to get there. It's a gamble that it will get there intact. It's a gamble that things will not be broken. It's a gamble that things will get there anywhere near their estimated delivery time or date. All of these things are massive gambles. And when it comes right down to it, I can't think of any company I trust less with anything than FedEx. I mean, straight up, I would trust MySpace with nuclear codes before I trust FedEx to get a package to its designated delivery location to the right person who is on the label on schedule. Yes, I would sooner trust the company that failed at running the most successful social network of its time to have nuclear codes more than I trust FedEx to simply drive a package to a spot and hand it to somebody. FedEx, you sad, yo. But hey, they're cheaper than USPS, so everyone keeps using them. Oh man, if I could, every company that it currently only ships FedEx, if I could, I would 100% pay an extra couple $2-3 to have stuff sent UPS. This very notably is one of the biggest complaints I have every time I order something from Google, because Google only ever ships FedEx. Google, I'm telling you, I will pay you an extra $1 if I can pay to have it shipped USPS instead. Or sorry, not USPS, UPS. USPS doesn't need to try to ship any more than they're already doing. They're having enough problem as it is. Which also not really super important, but I'm sure all of you guys have heard of if you're not actually on Nextdoor. Nextdoor, the social network for racism. Anyway, I can't even call them that. It's so clearly Facebook. But Nextdoor is racism 2.0. Anyway, on my current... one of the topics that just won't die on Nextdoor is tons and tons of people complaining about the fact that our mail service is so bad and so unreliable. On an almost daily basis, tons of people are getting other people's mail. It's a problem. It's a really big problem, actually. This water actually feels better on the throat than the other water. I've never really compared them side by side, but I'll have to make a point of drinking that more often. I mean, I already kind of do make a point of using it for streams, but that's because of the size of the bottle, not because this is big, huge, nice, giant, monster bottle. But it actually seems better on the throat. Anyway, switching back to channels. Okay. So do we have any other topics? I can switch back and look into this Biden story, because I've seen little bits and pieces of this, but I haven't looked at too much of it. So unveils what he calls a once-in-a-generation infrastructure proposal. Yeah, no kidding. You saw me cheese my way through the Lagiron fight on the replay. It wasn't a hard fight, though. And I'm not sure it can even be called cheese. Like, obviously he has a hit everything on the field unless you duck behind a rock type of attack. I played enough games to be familiar with that. The moment I saw that light up, it's like, oh, so you have to hide behind a rock to not get hit? Okay, go behind the rock. And then the rest of it, he just wasn't that hard of a fight. The fight glitched? Okay. If you say so. I mean, maybe it did, but... Finish the story this weekend? I expect so, yeah. Because I can already go into... I can already go in and fight the boss, like, right now. So, yeah, it wouldn't be hard. My main thinking is I'm just going to wrap up the various story elements that are actual, like, quests. Because I'm not a completionist to the level that I'm going to, like, scour the map and clear every last little thing. I just want to hit the actual, like, story quests, the stuff that has content. Like, dialogue and a story behind it, which I think I'm nearly done with those, unless there's some big thing missing that I don't know about. Everything else should be basically over, so I'll finish those and then I'll do the boss fight, and I assume that'll basically wrap it up. That'll probably just be on Saturday. Sunday, we'll see what Sunday will be. I mean, there's technically a possibility Friday I might even do this instead. Or not Friday, Saturday. But one of the days, very possibly, will be photo and video edits. Which I know I keep saying that, and I really do genuinely mean it. Because I got to get them done, and doing them live makes sense. The biggest reason I haven't done it yet is, there's two reasons. One, just getting through culling the images, which, by the way, I took a bunch more pictures. Not last night, it was the night before. I took a bunch of additional pictures the night before, so I would have, like, basically the drone sitting on a mostly black surface that I could use as kind of a, well, you'll see. Um, and what else? Damn it, brain is totally spacing on me for a second. Oh, the other thing is I want different music for that. I don't want it to just be a play of the same music you're hearing now. So much so that I was even tinkering with the idea of making it I don't want to call it a private stream, but I was thinking about actually like just putting on regular music and doing a self stream. The only thing is I'd have to set up a VPS before doing that, and that's more time than it's worth. I just need to find real music instead. And the problem to that, which is one that I very much want to fix as soon as possible, is I need to find a streaming service that has actual music, because some of them cater more to sort of like background music. It like basically Muzak, kind of like what's being played now to some extent. Two, I want to find one that is good with streaming, like live streams. Some of them are very much not. I found at least 2 or 3 services where what you have to do is every single song that you are going to use in your videos, you actually have to register individually each song. It's completely untenable. That does not work with live streams, not even close. Because you also have to do it per video. Like if I could just point to a channel and say, yeah, I'm going to use these songs on this channel, I'd be okay with that. I could live with it. I can't live with it when it's every single video I have to run through their system, especially if it's going to be live streamed. That's just not going to work. Let's see. And then there's some that their licensing actually like prohibits streaming. So I'm trying to, I've got a big list of services. I've got to weed through all of them, figure out which one's actually going to be not too high a cost, and will give me music that I can use for making videos, making streams, the whole 9. So that's my big holdup. Which I'm also vaguely, I have read the idea and I kind of want to look into it. I'm mildly curious about DJ music services, because that is also a thing. DJs subscribe to these services, and I've heard some of those services might actually be okay with live streams. DJ music, DJ music subscription services, Beatport Link, Beat Source, SoundCloud Go Plus, Tidal, Deezer. Okay, some of those are definitely not gonna be DJ friendly, but I may look into that too. Anyway, in the meantime, getting back onto a topic. Wait, did the music? Okay, I see there is music playing. I don't hear any of it. Not right now. For some reason, this track, I think this has happened before. I don't hear anything from this track. Oh, it's just really quiet. That's why. Wow, I have to turn my system volume all the way up in order to hear that. Interesting. Okay, so anyway, what is Biden's offer here? Let's size that up just a bit. Okay. Country's infrastructure is badly in need of repair. I happen to agree. Both major parties agree. Well, good for them. No one, of course, wants to pay for it because that means money out of their pockets to do other crap. So Biden detailed a $2 trillion package that he said would lead to transformational progress. He said this is not a plan that tinkers around the edges, calling it a once-in-a-generation investment that will lead to good-paying jobs and grow the economy. He framed his effort as along the lines of other investments the federal government has made in history, such as the space race in the middle of the 20th century. Biden said his proposal would be paid for in 15 years by raising taxes on corporations. Well, we know how this is going to go. That line basically means this goes nowhere. He said he's open to other ideas, but Biden vowed Wednesday that no one making less than $400,000 a year would see their taxes increased, period. All right. Well, seeing as how I don't even make 1% of that. Well, no, I guess I do make 1%. Let's see. The president pointed out that millions have lost their jobs during the pandemic, while the top 1% gained in wealth. Blah, blah, blah. Time to change that. Time to build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not the top down. Proposed taxes and the scope of Biden's plan and where the money would go are already rankling Republicans. The proposal has a heavy focus on climate change and the environment, including transitioning the auto sector from gas-based vehicles to electric, the creation of a climate conservation corps, and incentivizing private investments in wind and solar power. Yay, good. Finally, somebody doing it. I will say, so people have different spins on this one, but Obama did put a lot of investment into solar. It didn't necessarily end up being enough, and because of countless reasons, it didn't go over super well. And depending on who you ask, some people love to say that he did absolutely nothing, which they're liars, but usually it's because they don't know anything better. In reality, he did things, they just didn't pan out as one would have hoped. But that being said, man, that's it, you can really tell that was something that they wanted to accomplish back then and missed the mark. Hopefully it happens now. The mic is amplified. How about now? Is it about the right level now? Because I didn't change anything else. I only raised my system volume. Compared to the rest of the world, Obama didn't do enough with solar. I agree. Yeah, completely. He pushed for some investments, and there were definitely investments made. But I wouldn't say that... given the ecosystem, given what he was kind of forced to put up with, I get how not as much got accomplished. I mean, he was fighting such a stupid uphill battle against hardcore conservatives that had this whole idea that no money should ever go into anything government related. They had that whole no new taxes thing that is just insanity. Anyway, so let's see. The effort to encourage the transition from gas to electric vehicles alone would get more money, $174 billion, than the plan would spend on repairs to highways and bridges, about $115 billion. Which, when you consider that this is a $2 trillion move, the fact that these fairly massive spends of 3-digit billions of dollars are a very small portion of that $2 trillion bill, that's a little mind-blowing when you think about it. Anyway, A transportation bill, I think, needs to be a transportation bill, not a Green New Deal. Representative Sam Graves, a Republican from MO is Missouri, right? Ranking Republican on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, said during a recent hearing with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, it needs to be about roads and bridges. Well, sure, it also needs to be about rails and planes, and it also needs to be about the things that are no longer working, which is cars and planes. Things that actually do need to be moving to electric because there are practical reasons they actually would perform better under electric. But a Republican who understands basic technology is completely insane. It changed when you mentioned the quiet music track. The only reason I can think of it changing is because I turned the system volume up to be able to hear the music and then back down. Okay, so if I do this, I'm turning it up as I talk. Did this cause any change? And I'm turning it back down now. Does it sound different as I'm adjusting that volume? Because that really is the only thing I adjusted. Technically I opened the window for VLC, but that definitely should not have caused any change. Weird. One of these days I will come to figure out the weird idiosyncrasies of, I'm assuming this has to be an OBS bug, though I guess actually that's far from certain. It could just as well be a Logitech software issue. I've had many of those. Which, random little question, I haven't looked at this in ages, but I wonder if there's possibly a firmware update for this mic. It appears. Listen to it from my phone. Is it bad? Also, I'm not sure I'd be able to hear it from my phone. What I can do though is I'll pop open YouTube and I can just listen to the live stream there. Okay. Okay, I'm listening to it. It doesn't sound bad. I don't know if it sounds better or worse, but it doesn't sound bad to me. Austin, did you hear a change? I mean, maybe there's some chance that this is something on C. Saldana's side. I don't know. But your hearing's bad. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe headphones you're using, or okay. I guess I should also listen to. I'm gonna bounce back to near the start of the stream and see what that sounds like. Okay, I'm listening to the. I don't know. It doesn't sound that different to me between like 43 minutes in and however far we are in now. It's at least close enough that I'm not noticing a difference just hearing a few words. Yeah, I can't tell. Okay, anyway, I was headed quickly into here, so I wanted to see if there was new firmware, which apparently there isn't, which is honestly surprising to me because refresh the stream and it sounds better. Huh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe YouTube might just be on a tear today. Maybe it is just full scale, everything's going weird. It would make sense. I mean, it seems like Google's doing some stuff. I've heard of a lot of services kind of acting up today. I don't know what's going on, but I believe it. Okay, anyway, let's see. Getting back onto this this expansion plan. Biden's proposal includes $100 billion for expanding high-speed broadband. Okay, I'm gonna sidetrack for this just really quick. The government should not be spending on this anymore. The government should be mandating that ISPs do it, because the government has already funded so fucking much into ISPs. They have given them such sweetheart deals. They have already benefited from, what is it, 20 years of subsidies and band-aid deals and offers that are supposed to cover the last mile. It never happens. How much more money do we need to give all these companies so that they can keep claiming that they're digging up road and doing work when they're not? Someone needs to pass laws that basically say, look, if you have people living in your jurisdiction, you fucking cover them. If you've ever accepted money from the government to cover last mile air territory. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, yeah, the answer is all the money, but I'm sick of this being a handout. Like, everyone talks about handouts for people. Bullshit. This is a corporate handout. 100,000%. They've had broadband expansion deals every few years for 20 fucking years. Shut it down. It's over. The bill has come due. Those companies have to actually finish spending the money they already have and finish covering people. There's no more excuses as far as I'm concerned. They need to take this out. Let's also reclassify broadband. Yes, I agree. I will agree with that too. Don't get me wrong. I can fully understand an argument for it to some extent. There are some people who live in basically uncoverable places. I respect that. I understand it. Sometimes it costs too much. But so few. I actually know of an area. It's about a 45-minute drive from where I live, give or take. I know this area. It has no cell phone service and no broadband. They have old telephone lines and that's it. And it's not like this is just one house every few miles. This is literally like house, right next to each other, all along a main road. No joke. No broadband, no cell phone service. It is disgusting. And this is an area, granted, it's an area where almost everyone living there clearly has to be seniors and people who just don't care about that crazy new internet fad. But man, and just to be blunt, imagine Deliverance but more populated. Anyway, yeah, the mere fact a place like that exists is a problem. It is a legit, no questions asked problem. And I'm sorry, but having the government pay more money to internet services that are making pretty great money already does not make sense to me. Those companies should be mandated and required to cover those people. Not to say that they necessarily should fund those people, but they need to make something available. And now that we have 5G and tower repeating as an option, they don't even have to dig up roads to put in lines. They don't have to dig ditches. They don't have to drag out heavy machinery. They need to put up repeating towers on the existing power infrastructure that already exists. They can do this. They have the money. They have the means. Just do it. Anyway, so $100 billion for new school buildings and upgrades. Cheers. I support this. Hopefully it doesn't all go into sports stadiums. The $100 billion for expansion of and improvements to power lines. Yeah, that'd be great. I feel like $100 billion maybe. I honestly don't know. I don't have a good context for this, but that seems like it's probably a lot. But at the same time, I think about what it was like losing power a couple years ago, and I'd really rather never have that happen again. And that was because of a freak snowstorm, but to be fair, it was a lot more serious of a snowstorm than what Texas got. And I was out of power for a week. I can only imagine, though, a big expansion like this, they're going to spend like all of that. Not actually all of it, but I bet way too much of it gets spent in places like Texas, where honestly, it was their own damn fault. In our case, we could have built even better power lines or infrastructure for supporting power. But for us, it was truly cost prohibitive. In the case of Texas, it was just cutting corners. Mostly. There were exceptions. Some of it was cost prohibitive, but yeah. We definitely need to have power not go out randomly. Let's see. He also has measures intended to fix racial injustices, such as replacing all the country's lead pipes and service lines, and $105 billion for improving and expanding mass transit, as well as reconnecting neighborhoods that had been decimated and cut off from surrounding areas due to highway construction. That's definitely good. It feels a little lofty. I mean, I get where it comes from, and I support where it comes from, but it seems maybe a little lofty to try to wrap things like replacing lead pipes into this bill. Though I guess that is an infrastructure thing. It all depends, I guess, on where the pipes are. The neighborhood thing definitely makes more sense, though, because yeah, that has been a real problem. I've actually seen a lot of it in California. California has a real problem with sections that ended up kind of getting just alienated by construction and changes to the road systems. So yeah, I could see that making sense. Anyway, a Trojan horse, the $2 trillion plan is one of two complementary measures the White House is rolling out that's intended to overhaul the economy. A second package focused on education, childcare, and other social programs is expected in coming weeks. Oof, so $2 trillion now, and in a couple weeks, or a few weeks, what, another trillion? $2 trillion? I mean, I get it. You spend sometimes. It's part of what you do, but so far there is little Republican support for what Biden has introduced. Shocking. It's like a Trojan horse, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. I love those words. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. He told reporters in Kentucky on Wednesday before Biden's speech, "It's called infrastructure. but inside the Trojan horse, it's going to be more borrowed money. The massive tax increases on all the productive parts of our economy. Thank you, Mitch the bitch. McConnell said Biden called him Tuesday to talk about the plan, reportedly just the second time they've spoken since the president was inaugurated. Remember when all anyone could talk about was how these guys got along? Like, they knew how to work together and they could bargain and deal. I guess they don't. And I don't feel like it's... Well, I don't know. Who knows who it is that's being the unwilling party, or if it's both of them, but I know I have my guesses. Anyway, Biden confirmed that he spoke with McConnell and noted that there is Republican support for infrastructure, and yet nothing has gotten done in recent years. Why haven't we done it? The president asked. No one wants to pay for it. Biden said he wants to engage in good faith negotiations with any Republican who wants to get this done. But we have to get it done, he said with emphasis. I hope Republicans will join this effort, he added, noting that he hopes businesses join too, and that it gets broad American support. Well, if Republicans say they don't like it, it's not going to get broad American support. Sadly, that's the game that we're playing. How some on the left feel. Without GOP support, it's unclear if Democrats would seek to pass the proposal through the Senate along party lines. For as many issues as Biden will have with Republicans in trying to get support for his plan, he also has to watch his left flank. It's disappointing, AOC told blah 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 before the package is unveiling. The size of it is disappointing. It's not enough. I feel like she doesn't understand how money works, but okay. Because when you're trying to pass out a bill that's going into the trillions of dollars, how far do you go? Anyway, while she said she liked some of what's in the measure, such as improving water supplies, she overall described the amount of money it would allocate as papitas, little French fries. It's nothing. Okay, like I just said, I feel like she doesn't understand how money works. It's $2 trillion. And it's not like it can't be changed. It's not like more can't be allocated down the road, but start the projects. Don't walk in the door saying, hey, guess what? We've got a plan. It's going to cost $100 trillion, which I know I see in the next paragraph. She's asking for $10 trillion, but, Ed Markey. Oh, sorry, Markey. Ed Markey. I added an L by accident. Ed Markey of Massachusetts and Debbie Dingell of Michigan are pushing for $10 trillion. Oh, wait, sorry. I read it first. I read it right the first time. She said she believes, in fact, that as much as $10 trillion is not even that progressive. It's a lot of money. Get realistic. It is a lot of money. Let's see. She thinks it's just the floor, noting that this is a planetary crisis and we're the richest country in the world. I'm starting to wonder if that's even true. Is it possible China's richer than us now? Anyway, labor leaders, who are crucial to helping Biden win the presidency, have largely come out in support of the package. We're cognizant that workers will disproportionately suffer if we do not make the transition to a green economy in the right way, United Auto Workers President Rory Gamble said in a statement, adding, we also need to ensure that the transition is stable, reliable, and creates quality union wage jobs and flexible to market demand, not relying on one-size-fits-all solution. Terry O'Sullivan, leader of the Labor's International Union of North America, praised the measure, saying it will restore our economy and create hundreds of thousands of good union jobs. Excellent soundbite. Good for you, Terry. But he also noted, we also look forward to working with the administration on insisting that the renewable industry does not shortchange and cheat working men and women of good family supporting pay and benefits on the jobs building this infrastructure. Well, yeah, no kidding. Government jobs are not known for being short on fun or short on paying out, so I don't think that's going to be a top concern. Anyway, so good. I mean, I'm down for this package. I knowing relatively little about it at the moment, but it does feel. It feels like this is going to go through a lot of changes. This is one of those deals where I don't know how much people necessarily paid attention during the Obamacare negotiations, but very little of what ended up being the ACA actually had anything to do with Biden's initial goals. It did incorporate some stuff, but it was missing a lot of what he wanted to have in there. He talked up lots of stuff. He was gunning for single payer. He wanted to change exemptions so that people could get on insurance even with pre-existing conditions, documented pre-existing conditions, so on and so forth. A lot of the stuff he went for never happened, and it's because the goals that were set forth aimed high, and Republicans came in and said, nope, we don't care, we're taking a lot of this stuff away, and without us you'll never get this passed, so you need us, you don't have a choice, you have to have us. And by the time all of the negotiations were done, we got left with something that was better. It was crap, but it was better. That's where I feel like this is probably going to go. I mean, I'm not trying to rain on the parade, but it feels like I feel like Republicans are going to look at this and say, well, we love the idea of some of this producing money that we can take. Hey, welcome back, David. But so much of this strikes me as an opportunity for them to just try to hustle money out, and then anything that doesn't fit either them or their donors is going to end up getting slashed. All Cody does is rain on parades. I mean, if you hold a parade during a winter storm, well, spring storm, I don't know, if you hold a parade during bad weather, expect it to get rained on. I'm just saying. We've got a greedy Republican front coming in from the east, and then we've got the progressives coming in from the west, and they're just gonna, these are two storms that are just gonna keep colliding. They're weather fronts, and you know what happens? You get hurricanes and tornadoes and, well, yeah, rain. So, don't hold parades during a season like that. What you really want is a nice westerly wind that doesn't meet any of that opposition from the east. And yes, I've decided that that Democrats are better associated to the west and Republicans to the east. Anyone who objects to this, tough luck. Left coast, best coast, baby. Anyway, I don't know. Do we have any other topics? I'll give it a little bit longer, but yeah, I probably should start calling it pretty soon. I can feel my voice starting to break a little. Plus, I'm not sure that there's much in the way of other topics. and FEMA is late to the aftermath from this political storm. I mean, that's actually true. And now that I think about it, honestly, I'm a little surprised that FEMA isn't mentioned in this, in at least this article about the bill. Who knows what else is in that list? Because out of $2 trillion, they definitely did not. This did not list $2 trillion worth of stuff. This article covered, I'd say, what, about maybe 600 million, 800 million, something in that neighborhood, 500 to 800 million. So a quarter to a third of that bill is mentioned in this article. There's a huge chunk that's not addressed at all. So you never know, maybe FEMA is in there. But yeah, FEMA needs to get back into this. They really cut off FEMA's legs in, well, especially the Bush administration. I'm assuming also in Trump, but I don't know. If it happened, we didn't hear enough about it. Yeah, so anyway, wouldn't it be great if raining on the parade actually literally involved raining on Democrats and Republicans? Like, just every time they're being dicks, maybe water needs to come raining down from the ceiling, and just, yeah, we're not talking like wet t-shirt levels of soakage, but just enough to mess up their hair a little bit. You know, maybe risk ruining a couple suits here and there. I mean, I'm not saying I would do it, but I think it'd be kind of funny. Anyway, oh, what else is there? Yeah, I'm kind of out of ramble material. I'm really surprised. I didn't think it was going to go this long today. Because I came in with a few topics, but I didn't really anticipate quite as much. All right, really quick, what is this about? Delta reverses course, calls Georgia voting law unacceptable. Yeah, if anyone hasn't heard about this, Georgia's voting law is insane. It's literally straight up, obviously a ploy to try to prevent anyone who's black from voting. Just straight up, like, it goes just shy of actually naming a race. And then it's also pretty clearly aimed at Democrats. So Georgia's kind of a disaster. What Delta has to do with this, I don't know. But anyway, Delta's based in Georgia. That's why. So that makes a lot more sense. Exclusive Coca-Cola CEO says the restrictive. Okay, so Coca-Cola is saying this too. Good. So it is a cold day in hell that I look at Delta and I think, hey, Delta did something good. I'm happy about this. Even if it's a small thing, it is weird. What's this? Oh yeah, there's, if no one's read through these, sorry, I'm just kind of going through a channel that's posting political stuff, but if no one has looked through Alan Fair, I don't know how it's said, but if anyone hasn't seen his threads, he's been covering all of the arrests and charges against the Capitol insurrectionists, because man, the list just keeps going, and the backgrounds on some of these people are just they're works of art. I mean, absolute works of art. Some of these people say stupid things. Some of them are, at least I've read of about 24 now. There are people saying that they would never do a thing like this. They would never show up and attack the Capitol building. But, you know, I don't know why I did it, but I was there. And it's like, so you would do a thing like this. You just don't feel that you're a person who would do it, but you did it. So that still means you did it. But yeah, if you feel so inclined and want some good comedy material, at Alan, I just want to know how to say your last name now. But it's Feuer, AlanFeuer. Let's see. Also for some more comedy, the conservatives, cons_owned, or conservatives getting owned Twitter account has also been a great source of material. Let's see. All right, whatever. That wasn't what I would have expected. Yeah. Okay. I'll just leave that one up there for anyone to read that feels so inclined. But because my God, does it just... It's perfect. Anyway, so... yeah, so I haven't seen any other topics suggested. I'm pretty well out of material at this point. I know that there was probably more, but I don't know how much further back I can go in the chat room to find news postings. Let's see. Doing a quick glimpse back at much older posts to see if there was anything else, but I don't think there really is. Yeah, probably not. So yeah, I think that'll be about it for today. Oh, just as a side note, because C. Saldana posted the Android Dev Challenge finale, I'll quickly pull that up. I did the first week of this, or started doing the first week of this, and just completely ran out of time, and I have not done it since. I really wanted to actually try for the Nexus 5. Let's see, that's why I wanted to load this up. This week's prize, 5 Google Pixel 5s. This week you have a chance of winning the ultimate 5G phone. We're giving away 1 Pixel 5 for the winner of each of the 4 categories, and 1 for the best of the best submission. What are the categories? Oh, judge your submission on visual beauty, novelty of idea, code quality, and overall execution. You can use, well, of course you're going to use fake weather data. because let's be honest, who wants to see the current weather? Always give us the sunny or rainy disposition. Anyway, okay, well that's interesting. I would have really liked to do this, but yes, okay. So Austin, I do agree. Shouldn't have been the first 2 rounds were basically first to submit. And I agree that was a terrible idea. It's never good to have first to submit. However, from what I understand, they got a shitload of submissions. So I kind of understand they didn't want to sit and look at every single one. They didn't want to... Can you imagine how many hours would have gone into looking over code, trying to determine what the best way to do any of that stuff is? Like, it's just too much. So I do understand. I respect that this is meant to be kind of a lightweight competition. It's supposed to be for fun, at least within reason. But man, I would not have wanted to do this. I would not want to. There are going to be so many crap submissions. There's going to be so many that are mostly working, but not entirely. There are going to be people who did really beautiful looking stuff, but like the app basically is non-functioning. Stuff like that. So I kind of get it. That being said, a fake weather app, frankly, doesn't sound like it's that hard. And if someone, like if I had seen this and had a little bit more time to work on it, I probably would have hammered something out that I doubt it would have won, but it probably would have at least been in final comparisons or close enough. The problem is it's just a lot of time spent on okay, let's be brutally honest here. The amount of time you would spend doing this competition, and yes, there are prizes and it's for learning, so you know, it is, the goal here is to give people incentives to learn. And generally speaking, you don't get paid for learning. But if, like, the amount of money that you would make if you got a job doing any of this stuff, you could just as easily, you would have been able to buy your own Pixel 5 in under a week. So the argument for that starts coming out a little. You know, how much time do you spend on something if you're not going to get the reward? There's always that mix. Like, this is good for college students who want to learn. It's not good for people who need to actually get like a Pixel 5. Watch someone make a new Dark Sky. Honestly, no joke, the first thing I thought when I saw this was someone out there is just going to look up existing weather apps and copy whatever ones people like the most. You would have just uploaded an old Dark Sky APK. Except I've seen the rules. They insist that you submit code. If it weren't for the code submission, I'd agree. The code submission makes that one not an option. But yeah. Let's see. Looks like they don't have much of a guidance for doing these either. Kind of makes me wonder, because I haven't looked through the previous weeks. I probably should, but I guess Android Dev Challenge, the labels, there we go. Oh crap, week 3 speed round. Be the fastest to implement a set of designs provided by us. Okay, that's another first served situation. Week 2 was the countdown timer, but where is it? Okay, so poster the first 500 people. So yeah, again, no judging. They just wanted you to be the first to submit, and we already looked at the first week. Yeah, the puppy adoption app, and yeah, first 500 people. So they weren't encouraging quality, they were encouraging speed, which, okay, that counts in, but man, they're not encouraging something that's good. Which, ironically, in the final week, they're saying they care about visual beauty, novelty of the idea, code quality, and overall execution. All of these things, generally speaking, really, really apply to actually building something good, not building it fast. You'd like to see some ML based challenges. Haven't they run some? I thought they had. I know. Okay, I don't know what the details are. Wait, did I say Nexus 5 earlier? That's funny. Anyway, yeah, I remember reading somewhere that Google was infusing a bunch of money into programs for learning ML. Okay. Well, if I said Nexus 5, it's fine because they're still Nexus phones. I don't care what they call them. Anyway, yeah, I remember there was something about Google infusing a bunch of money into ML programs, but I don't know whatever came of that. I'm assuming it probably, like most things, was a little bit more lip service than anything, but it is probably going into helping them develop, I'm guessing, like Udacity courses, things like that. Which, good, that's helpful, but yeah, it does seem like they're not super focused on teaching machine learning. Okay, let's see. Oh, and earlier Austin said, unless I want to talk about ARM v9, but that can be pretty boring. It would take a lot of digging to get to a point where I have much I could say on that. I mean, I could read about it, but it's probably pretty esoteric for me. We're at the point where TensorFlow Lite should just be considered Android development. I haven't looked into it enough, but yeah. I've heard this said before, and it kind of makes sense. Though, with that said, make the best Hello World app in next week's challenge. I've actually seen... Okay, so this was a small kind of, like, how can you screw with people sort of thing. But I've actually seen that challenge posed to people. But the context of it was a little weird. It wasn't make the best Hello World app. It was make the most overcomplicated Hello World app. Think of Rube Goldberg as a Hello World. Or Hello World as a Rube Goldberg machine. Oh god, what did some people do? I remember one person produced like a stereoscopic which this precedes like Google Cardboard, so read into that how you like. But one person produced a stereoscopic thing where you'd have presumably like, what is it, those red and blue 3D glasses, like the old school method of doing 3D. He had Hello World presented in 3D using that. Another person their Hello World involved something like scout. It used some sort of a hack to be able to read memory, like random bits from memory that were unallocated or something, and it was like looking for strings that could be reprocessed into the text of Hello World. It was something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was doing weird stuff with memory just so it could like extract a Hello World. And I remember hearing that during the sample run of that, it took something like 2 hours to get to printing Hello World, because I think it like scoured the memory, didn't find anything, so it started using different algorithms to try to convert everything it found into Hello World until it finally found something that would work. Yeah, there are some crazy ways to actually do this stuff when you start trying to make it ridiculous and difficult. Upon thought, that would actually be a fun challenge to pose to developers. Come up with the most absurd way to make a Hello World, and make it as unique as possible. You know, make it something that is virtually impossible for anyone else to do. that would be really fun. You'd like posing to experts in their fields, like, can you come up with a Hello World that is so complicated that other people in your field could not reproduce what you do? There would be somebody out there who would come up with something so obscenely ridiculous, it would almost belong in as a world record of some kind. I want to see this. Anyway, well, it's 6 o'clock here, which means technically I'm a bit shy of the classic ending time, but I think at this point the topics have pretty well been DNA-based coding of Hello World. That could work. I mean, technically it's not as software oriented. You know what you're doing tomorrow? Getting a head start on making a ridiculous Hello World. But yeah, anyway, this is a bit early for the typical ending time, but yeah, I think I probably should. I'll save a bit of my voice, that way and there's no promises that this will happen. You guys know how it goes. You've been here with me enough. You know that if I aim for a day, it's probably not going to happen. But there is a chance of either a Thursday or Friday night photo edit stream. I'm really trying. But yeah, if that doesn't happen, it should almost guaranteed happen on the weekend. I'm going to try to work out the music situation. That's almost goal not number one. I've got a few things I have to do before that. But yeah, that's one of the things I really, really desperately want to knock out. Should try to do game streams on Fridays again. The problem with doing game streams, well, okay. The problem is it's already about 8 hours. And so often I need the time for other stuff. But yeah, now that I don't have a review unit literally sitting in front of me on my desk that I need to take out and fly, it might be a little bit more realistic, but I need to catch up on some other stuff first. We'll see how it goes. Wait, why did I just get... Oh, nothing. I saw a ping on the AP Slack, and every time I see that I got notified, it's like, shit, is this something that actually has to do with me, or is this just like a random @ here that's not really that important? Yeah, anyway. So, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being part of the conversation. Glad you guys were came by and suggested things to ramble upon. I think we all learned something. I think. I'm probably wrong. Maybe we didn't. But get Arno on the show next week. Yeah. Good luck. I haven't heard specifically, but I have a feeling he's not a fan that I'm even doing this show. I doubt he actually knows that I'm still doing it, but who knows? I know that there are members of AP that follow up on what other members do and report back, so you never know. But anyway, so again, I will be back possibly some night between now and this weekend, and if not, you will see me on Saturday night, in all likelihood wrapping up the core storyline, Artem's corporate. Yeah, anyway, in all likelihood, Saturday night will be wrapping up the core storyline for Immortals Phoenix Rising before starting on the DLC, because obviously. And then Sunday, or possibly I'll flip these days depending on how it works out, hopefully photo edits if I don't do them sooner. So that is currently the closest thing resembling a plan. So with that, I will see all of you guys in the next one. Good night, everybody.